September 1917, Belgium. Australians are fiercely involved in the British offensive known as the Third Battle of Ypres. They've already gained ground in their first fight at Menin Road. Now, their next objective, just a week later, is here, at Polygon Wood. Polygon Wood was a well-planned next step in a series of actions pushing toward Passchendaele, but it begins in near disaster with a sudden German thrust through the open ground to your right, leaving the Aussies, below us, dangerously exposed. Not only were the 10,000 men of the Australian 5th Division now starting on the back foot, they'd be advancing against an enemy well dug in trenches like these, at nearby Beyenwald. Polygon Wood in 1917 was very different to today. For the advancing Australians, there was little cover from trees. Those had been reduced to mere stumps by artillery fire. Instead, the men would rely on an enormous creeping barrage to keep the enemy sheltering inside their pillboxes and trenches until the last moment. On September the 26th at 5:50 a.m, Allied artillery opens up. Behind the curtain of shells, our infantry move forward swiftly, taking each enemy strongpoint. This pillbox was named Scott's Post in honour of Lieutenant Colonel Alan Scott, one of many brave men whose individual stories stand out. The decorated Gallipoli veteran Scott leads his fiercely loyal men to their objective, then is killed here, shot by a sniper at the very moment he hands over the newly won ground to his British counterpart, Lieutenant Colonel Dudley Turnbull. Tragically, the same shot kills both men. At the time, this mound was a vantage point for the Germans, overlooking the battlefield. Today it is the site of the Australian 5th Division Memorial. Thousands of casualties of the Polygon Wood battle are buried at cemeteries around here. Among them, Victoria Cross holder Patrick Budgeon. Budgeon, a 20-year-old private, was in the midst of the desperate fighting here on the right flank. When the Australian advance is held up by machine gun fire, Budgeon takes out a number of enemy posts. He then rescues a corporal who has been taken prisoner, and he drags 5 wounded men to safety before he is killed, trying to save one more. So many men fight so hard here. Budgeon, his fellow VC John Dwyer, Gallipoli legend Albert Jacka, and the extraordinarily brave Lieutenant John Turner, who sacrifices himself drawing enemy fire while his men attack a pillbox. The dogged determination goes right to the top. Famed 15th Brigade Commander Harold Pompey Elliott is directing operations from his shell-battered headquarters near here at Hoog Crater when he receives 2 crushing pieces of news. First, that his army medic brother George has been mortally wounded, and second, that in civilian life he faces massive amounts of debt. Far from giving in, Elliott presses on. He heads up to the front line, 3 kilometers away, to direct operations in person, almost unheard of for an officer of his rank. Leadership, sacrifice, courage. Almost 6,000 Australians are killed or wounded taking Polygon Wood. Britain's Field Marshal Plumer says the Australians have saved the British Army, and the stage is set for the next advance. Lest we forget.